Hello guys, TrainLover16 here. So 1 week ago, I asked you all to put in the comments some questions you have for me for my 800 subscriber Q&A. Well, it's now been a week, the deadline is here, the Q&A is now closed, so it's time for me to answer your questions. So thanks again for 800 subscribers, and thank you to everyone who posted questions. Thankfully, none of them violated the rules from what I can remember, except for some people didn't put their questions on the video, in the video comments of my announcement video, as I told them to. I made it very clear that your questions wouldn't be answered if they weren't in the announcement, in the comments section of the announcement video. But some people didn't do that, so their questions are not going to be answered as per the rules. But I'm pleased to say that none of the other rules were violated in terms of these questions. So guys, I see no point in wasting any more time, so let's get straight into these answers. So we'll start with the Hugo Harvey's questions. We're doing this in the order that these questions appeared in the YouTube comments, in the order YouTube put them in. So we'll start with Harvey's questions. Will you be watching No Time to Die when it comes out on DVD? I will be watching No Time to Die, but not on DVD. I'm going to be watching it on streaming this Christmas with my family and grandparents. What if All Engines Go got banned? That would quite honestly be amazing. Are you excited for the live-action Thomas and Friends movie directed by Mark Forster? Well, nothing has been confirmed that it's definitely being made, but yes, it would be amazing to see that actually happen. What's the saddest film I've ever seen? Well, no one film has ever made me cry, but the closest I've ever come to tearing up while watching a film would definitely be E.T. the Extraterrestrial, so I'm gonna say that. And finally, do I hate the Emoji Movie? Well, this may surprise you, but I don't actually hate it. There are definitely far worse movies out there. I didn't actually mind it when I first watched it, but then when I rewatched it 3 years later, I realised where all the hate was coming from. So I've gotten rid of the DVD now, and yeah, but yes, I definitely have seen far worse movies, though. Right, let's move on to the British Wazowski's questions. Thoughts on Strange Hell High? I've never heard of it. Have you seen Sponge Out of Water? Yes, I have. I watched it in the cinema when it came out. How did I feel when the original Thomas ended? Really not great. Thomas is in a terrible place at the moment. We really need someone to buy the Thomas franchise off Mattel now. Favourite ride at Drayton Manor? I've only ever been to Drayton Manor once in 2010, and I didn't really have a favourite ride then. I'm sure I would if I went back, but at the moment I don't really have a favourite ride. And finally, have I seen ASDF movie? Yes, I have. I've seen all 14 ASDF movies. Yeah, I've seen all 14. Right, now then, James Lister. What are your overall thoughts on Izzy Gomez from Tugs? Well, I get why most people don't like him. I wouldn't. He is definitely stereotypical and borderline racist, but you have to but it was the 80s, so you have to give it some slack. And but yes, there are definitely far more stereotypical characters than Izzy Gomez out there. So I don't really hate Izzy Gomez. And his character and his personality itself is quite funny, to be honest. So yes, I do actually like Izzy Gomez, despite him being stereotypical and borderline racist. Should Jimbo and the Jet Set get a reboot where the Chief gets sacked? Yes, it should, but a Jimbo reboot would obviously need to be faithful to the series. Have you thought of reviewing a Busy Buses VHS? Well, I am considering it now after you asked me this question. Will you review the Pingu VHS Hide and Seek? That really does depend. I've got so many other VHSs planned, and I can't guarantee that my next Pingu VHS will be that one. So I will consider it, but no promises. Does Colin from Busy Buses remind you of Muck from Bob the Builder? Sort of. I can kind of see where you're coming from with that. Okay, so that's the first page of questions done. Let's move on to the next page. Okay, so Neon Dragon only asked me 2 questions. What sparked your interest in steam trains and trains in general? Thomas and Friends, mainly. Thomas is what started getting me into trains, and then after I started going to Heritage Railways, that's what fully solidified my interest in trains. So yeah. And it hasn't really died away ever since. And from there, my knowledge on trains grew and grew and grew. And then I became interested in other stuff like film and TV and spaceflight. So yeah. And my favorite retro YTP, well, if by retro you mean pre-2010, I don't really have a favorite one. But I do know about some of my favorites are I Wonder What's for Dinner. I also love Dinner Blaster, that Dinner Blaster video. And the one I remember really fondly is The Sky Had a Ouija, that SpongeBob YTP. So yeah, those are the only 2 questions Neon Dragon asked. Right, FMPBBS. What's your opinion on Oggy and the Cockroaches? It's a pretty decent show, though nowhere near as good as Tom and Jerry, I'd have to say. It's basically a French version of Tom and Jerry. Did I see Cars 2 at the cinemas? No, I did not. I did not watch Cars 2 until it came out on DVD. Do you remember watching Children and the Wheelies when you was a kid? No, I do not. I've never even heard of that show. How did you feel when the Disney Channel got... I'm sorry. How did you feel when the Disney Channel got shut down? Well, I hadn't watched it since 2012, 2013, so I didn't... I wasn't really that upset, to be honest. I wasn't really that sad. Right, Tracy Street. What are your thoughts on Season 8? I have quite a soft spot for Season 8 and the model hit era in general. Seasons 8 to 11. I did mainly grow up with the classic series, but but I did also grow up with the hit era. And as a kid, I definitely knew that the hit era was wasn't as good as the classic series, but I still enjoyed it. But I have even more of a soft spot for season 9, to be honest. Yeah, I haven't. Yes, I used to have a DVD that had 6 episodes of season 9 on it. So yeah. Yes, I have a soft spot for season 8 and the hit era in general. What's my favourite CGI Thomas season? Season 20, no contest. It's most of the fandom's favourite CGI season, and it's my favourite as well. So yeah, season 20, no question. Okay, My Little Pony fan 2004. Do I like SpongeBob? Yes, I do. It was one of my favourite shows as a kid. Did I watch Cars 3 at the cinema? Now, yes, I did watch Cars 3 at the cinema, but not Cars 2. The reason I didn't watch Cars 2 is because it didn't look appealing to me. But then I actually enjoyed it when it came out, when I watched it on DVD. But Cars 3, I definitely have to say, is the best of the trilogy, and yes, I watched it at the cinemas. Do I have Lego? My Little Pony fan, can you not tell that Redcliffe Railway Tales is produced with Lego trains? I absolutely love Lego. When was my first retro gameplay? If you're asking what it was, then it was the first part of Super Mario 64. But if you want to know what if you're asking when I uploaded it, hang on, I'm just double checking on my phone. Where is it? Here it is. If you want to know when it was on the 7th of January 2021. So if you meant what it was Super Mario 64, the first part. And if you're asking when it was on the 7th of January 2021. Oh god, that was almost a year ago. It does not feel like that long at all. And finally, do I like pizza? Yes, I do. It's one of my favourite foods, but not my definitive favourite. I have no definitive favourite. So yeah. Right. VHS and DVD movie maker. What do I call Summer Rose? You call her my little cabbage. And I still don't get why. Episode 29 will be Teletubbies, of course, of my VHS reviews. Yes, I did enjoy reviewing my Brum VHS. I do remember the Story Makers, though I wasn't the biggest fan of it as a kid. I mean, I still enjoyed it, but I just thought it was when I was a kid. Opinion on Big and Small, again, as a kid, and even now, it wasn't really, I didn't find it to be anything that special, so I was just, Right, Britty Waxter Productions. What's my favourite American movie vehicles? I've never heard of any of those vehicles, so I've never heard of any of those vehicles, so I'm afraid I cannot answer your question, Britty Waxter Productions. I am so sorry. I don't have a favourite with all of these. So yeah, I cannot answer your question, I'm afraid. I'm so sorry. Right. Dominic Z. Have I seen the Yertle Tugs advert? No, but I think it's great. Do I like the Per Marquette Berkshire Steam Locomotive number 1225? Yes, I do. I know it was the basis for the Polar Express locomotive, and the whistle from it was used in the film. Amazing. Yeah, amazing. What if Hornby buys the Thomas and Friends show and runs the show? Well, Hornby don't really have any TV experience, but they'd certainly be a lot. But I'm sure Thomas would be in a much better hands if Hornby owned it. To be honest, much better hands than Mattel anyway. What do you think of the Lego Duplo Bob the Builder range? I haven't seen it, but I guess it's alright. Have I seen Muppets Family Christmas? No, I haven't, and I don't plan to. And the final set of questions comes from That Universal Yoshi. What's my favourite ride at Alton Towers and why? Now, lucky of you to assume that I'd been to Alton Towers, because I have 3 times. My favourite ride there would, without question, have to be Galactica. Because it's such a great roller coaster. Sorry, that's not really a good enough answer. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to think. Yeah. I love how it gives you. I just love how it gives you the sensation of flying. Basically, it's just an amazing roller coaster, purely because it gives you the sensation of flying, and not too fast or slow either, and it's not really that intense either. I do like intense roller coasters, but this is much more gentle. But Galactica's much more gentle and much more smooth with its flight transitions. So yeah. What's my opinion on the new South Park special post-COVID? I haven't seen any of the newer South Park episodes, so I couldn't say. I don't even think the main characters are kids anymore. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think they are. So yeah. What's on my Christmas list? A lot of things. A lot of things are on my Christmas list. I've got the new Lego Swiss Crocodile locomotives on my list. Star Fox 64 and the original Mario Party are also on my list. I also want to get Tomb Raider for my PlayStation 1. All of these games I am planning to play. I also want £100 to £200 in Christmas money, a Spyro plush, 2 massive chocolate bars, and Terminator 2 and Terminator 2 and Treasure Planet on VHS. So yeah, that's all my things on the Christmas list. What do I hate about Mr. Blobby? He just, not only does he look creepy as hell, but his voice is also horrible. I really don't like his voice or his appearance. So yeah, that's basically it. If you had to go on one ride on Drayton Manor, what would it be and why? I would definitely have to pick Accelerator from known as Ben 10 Ultimate Mission between 2011 and 2015. But yeah, it would definitely have to be Accelerator. I've never been on a Vekoma Boomerang coaster. So yeah, it would definitely have to be that. I can't when Ben 10 Ultimate Mission opened in 2011, I really did want to go. I really was considering going to Drayton Manor to brave my fear of roller coasters, because I still had a fear of roller coasters back then. I wanted to brave my fear of roller coasters, but then when my sister told me it goes backwards, I was like, nope, not going. And I haven't been to Drayton Manor since then. I have considered going multiple times, but I haven't been since 2010. But I did consider going when Ben 10 Ultimate Mission opened, also because I was a massive fan of Ben 10 back then. And now that Ben 10 Ultimate Mission has become Accelerator, that didn't entice me to go. That enticed me to go even less. So I may go to Drayton Manor one day to ride Accelerator and do all the other rides that I was too scared to go on as a kid, but as of now, I have no plans to go to Drayton Manor. So maybe one day, but not anytime soon. Oh, hang on. And that about concludes the Q&A. So this went on for slightly longer than I was planning to, but I still enjoyed answering all your questions regardless. Thank you once again to everyone who answered questions, and thank you all for 800 subscribers. And here's to the next 800. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed me answering your questions. Hang on, guys. Please like this video, comment on it, share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to me, Train Lover 16, if you haven't already. Thanks again so much for asking your questions. I really enjoyed answering them. Hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye bye, everyone.